Okay, let's really put you on the spot here. Bet your house, and I'm not talking
God.
about the vacation place or else. I'm talking about the main house. Cowboys or Bucks in the Super Bowl?
Oh, man. I think last night I told the producers maybe Bucks. I want to change my mind because of Dak, but I think I got to bet the whole house. The man's won 6 Super Bowls. He's won 6 Super Bowls. If I got to bet the house, I don't want my wife to be angry if we are on the streets. So I'm going to ride with pretty boy Tom Brady and all those weapons that he has out there. Assuming the secondary can get healthy, I think I have to bet. And I'm sorry to Dak. I'm sorry to Tad. I'm sorry to my cousins and the entire Prescott family. But I got to bet the crib. I got to go with Tom Brady. He got 6 Super Bowls.
You can't bet. I mean, you can't bet the house against Tom Brady. But
7 Super Bowls. I forgot. He just won another one last year. Jeez, what's wrong with me?
Okay, one more for you. Which current quarterback are you starting your franchise with?
Oh, that's easy. It's Patrick Mahomes. I understand that he seems like he's having a down year right now, but there's his skill level and talent seems unmatched. He's never really had a bad season, and he's young. Like, I understand that maybe you could argue against Patrick Mahomes to say somebody like Aaron Rodgers, or you could even say somebody like Tom Brady, but Patrick Mahomes still has a much brighter future than any of those guys, and when he's at his best, he's the best we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to argue against that even though he's having a bad year. I think a runner-up is Lamar Jackson just because you don't see how special he is, how much he means to that team, how unique a player he is. I would get excited about building a team around that, but still, the ability that Patrick Mahomes has, I think, sets him above anyone else in his youth.
It's hard to argue against him. Bringing in Jeff Darlington now. Jeff, what quarterback would you start your franchise
with? Don't say it. Don't.
Obviously, even at 44 years old, I would start with
he said it.
I'm kidding.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm kidding. Let me be very clear about something. You can go ahead and take, for the next 10 years, you don't have to ask me any time. I don't even care if Patrick Mahomes blows out his knee in July. I'm still writing him in as my MVP before every single season for the next 10 years. And if you want to jump off the bandwagon right now because the Chiefs are having a little bit of a downtime, you go right ahead. Patrick Mahomes is a transcendent athlete. He is not going anywhere. He will be back, and he will make anybody, Ryan, I'm foreshadowing here, look dumb if you pick against him.
I appreciate that foreshadowing. I am going to say, and I know everybody's going to slam me, Justin Herbert. Here's why.
That's right.
Here's why.
What about Kyler?
Okay, here's why. It's the unknown. It's the potential.
Oh, gosh.
And we love potential. I get that Mahomes is otherworldly. I get that he can do anything. But this guy right here, we don't even know how good he could be. It feels like he's just scratching the surface. He could actually end up being better than Mahomes.
Are we betting the house? Because if so,
we're not betting the house.
If so, I would like to apologize.
This is not a bet the house segment.
To your wife and the twins.
I'm not
sorry.
putting up the house.
I am sorry that you guys. You can come. We got some bedrooms. They can come stay with me.
I'm not even putting up my kid's toy dinosaur on there. I'm just saying I'm picking him to start my franchise.
Oh, man. Who's number 2, Darlington? Quick. Number 2, Darlington. You don't get Mahomes, who you build a team with.
Patrick Mahomes.
You hit him with the Dylon.
All right. Let's get on to college football because we got a lot to talk about there. Some shake-up in the college football rankings, most notably former number 1, Alabama. Fell down to 5 after their loss to Texas A&M. With the loss, Alabama broke its streak of 100 straight victories against unranked opponents. Now, despite Saturday's loss, Alabama still has a 54% chance to reach the playoff, the 3rd highest for any team, according to the All-State Playoff Predictor. Georgia and Oklahoma are the only 2 teams that are over 50%. So they're still looking good for the playoff. Let's talk to Heather and Paul about that. Heather Dinich, Paul Feinbaum getting up with us. Okay, so guys, Georgia seems to be close to a playoff lock at this point in the season. They carry that 91% chance to make the playoff, according to the All-State Playoff Predictor. Heather, I'll start with you. Is there any team that can knock off the Bulldogs?
I don't see it, and I'm not going to pick it. Look, Kentucky has the momentum. They have the magic, but they're also banged up on defense, particularly up front. I don't think that they have a tough test ahead of them that they can't win. I think their most difficult games are behind them. And when you look at Georgia's defense, only allowed 2 touchdowns this season. They're the most complete team that we've seen because it's not just the defense. They've outscored opponents by 206 points. So I'm sticking with the Dogs. Nobody's going to beat them.
Paul, what do you think? And let's put up those percentages again, because that is just astounding. The percentage, the playoff predictors' idea of their percentage chance to win.
Ryan, the only game that I think could even be interesting, and I didn't say lose, but interesting, would be the Florida game in 2 weeks in Jacksonville. It's the ultimate rivalry game. But having seen Florida against Alabama, which they looked pretty good, and Kentucky, which they threw the game away, I don't see it happening. And I know it's not on the board. Alabama lurks as an SEC championship game, but quite frankly, they could lose that game. They could not even show up for that game, and they're still in the playoffs.
When you think about that FPI ranking making it look like Georgia is a lock really to win out. Now, guys, with the surrounding uncertainty at the top in college football this season, I want to bring back the bet your house thing. Apparently, we want to put people out of their houses. So let's put you guys in that position. Paul, I'll start with you. Bet your house. Alabama will be in or out of the college football playoff.
I don't think I've gone against Alabama in 10 years, but I'm betting my house against them this time. I don't see it because they have to play Georgia. They can negotiate the rest of the season. They probably will if you look at the FPI. They don't have what I would call a really dangerous game left. Of course, I didn't think Texas A&M was a dangerous game. But to beat Georgia, they have to do things they haven't done this year. And quite frankly, Heather already laid out the Georgia template. I don't see it happening.
Heather, what do you think?
Ryan, I can't believe I'm saying this, and I hope that you have enough room in your house for the 5 people in my family.
Come on
but
over.
I agree with Paul. I can't believe I'm saying this on national TV right now because it's going to come back and bite me in the you-know-what. But Alabama's going to be out because I don't think they beat Georgia in the SEC championship. We have not seen a 2-loss team get into the college football playoff. I'll remind everyone the selection committee has to deem a team unequivocally one of the 4 best teams in the country. If they don't win the conference championship, can they do that with a 2-loss Alabama? I don't think so.
So glad I don't have to bet my house on that question. All right, another potential playoff team, Oklahoma Sooners. They're coming off a big comeback win over Texas, you guys, but not without a quarterback controversy. This was interesting. Lincoln Riley addressed the media on this issue yesterday.
Don't plan on naming a starting quarterback here this week. We'll see how the week plays out, see where we are when we get to Saturday. But it was very clear that Spencer was the guy that was going to start the season.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who was the Heisman favorite, possible #1 pick. Heather, should the Sooners go back to Spencer Rattler as their quarterback down the stretch?
I think Caleb Williams is the right answer here, but I will also say Lincoln Riley has to make the decision that does not disrupt the rest of this season. This cannot become a distraction, and it was yesterday.
Paul, what do you think?
No way. Yeah, no, Spencer, nice knowing you, but hit the portal because we've seen this before. It happened at Alabama. Jalen Hurts was supplanted by Tua, and of course Trevor Lawrence knocked off Kelly Bryant. It's the right decision. Spencer Rattler, I hate to say it, he was the best player in the country going into the season. He's not even the best quarterback on his team right now.
Unbelievable, especially when you look at those numbers right there on the screen. All right, Paul Feinbaum, Heather Dinich, thank you so much, and I really hope both of your houses are safe. All right, on to this. The WNBA Finals, Game 2, tonight, 9 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Candace Parker in the Sky up 1-0 against Diana Taurasi and the Mercury. Well, coming up, the Cowboys finally paid. He couldn't play at the Barclays Center because New York requires a COVID shot for large indoor gatherings. So here's Brooklyn GM Sean Marks on the decision.
Kyrie's made it clear that he has a choice in this matter, and it's ultimately going to be up to him what he decides. You know, we respect the fact that he has a choice and he can make his own and right to choose. We all know what our objective is this year and how a decision like this may be able to affix that ultimate objective. They're never easy decisions, but at the end of the day, I think we're looking at putting a group of people out there that are going to be able to participate fully, and that's where this comes down to.
I wanted to bring in Brian Windhorst on this to talk more about this because you've been all over this from the beginning. Brian, I can't imagine a scenario. I don't think there's ever been a scenario where you've had a healthy superstar that you sit, but these are unique times. So how will the Nets make this work?
Well, I don't know if they're going to be able to make it work. And that's basically what they're saying here, is that we can't make this work with Kyrie playing halftime. And I think the key here is is very unlikely that Kevin Durant